So from a practical point of view, one of my major bugbears as a head of department is the loss of textbooks. Now, invariably, you're chasing the teacher to chase the student who wasn't in the last week. They've lost the book, they've forgotten the book, so it can be going on for weeks and your new class can be stuck without textbooks. So I decided a few years ago that actually we were going to get rid of textbooks, we were going to go textbook free, and I would build an online textbook specifically for our course so that our students were able to access it at home. We didn't really use textbooks much in school, but the textbooks were going to be kept in school so that if we did use them in class, then that was it. We had a full set that the students were able to use, and they weren't going to be from different editions, for example. So these sites were very much built in mind with engaging students at home and supporting them at home. So with Year 7, there's a bit of blurb about what they're doing. There's a bit about their history skills as well. And then their site specifically for their curriculum. So we have what we're studying in Year 7, and I was able to create these images in Publisher and in PowerPoint, save them as an image, and then upload them very quickly and easily. And then you'll see here that I have links to external internet sites. So I have the BBC timeline, and then anywhere there is a post-it, it gives them a task to do or further information, and then they've obviously got links to resources that they had in class as well. So we start with what life was like before the Norman invasion and why William might possibly want to invade, or why someone might possibly want to invade. So you'll see that I like to make it very visual for them. There are video clips as well that they can watch. Sometimes horrible histories there for them. And then again, their first homework is looking at the Anglo-Saxon village. Now, importantly, is getting the students to engage. So the teacher has to point them in the direction of completing the poll, and then they can use that as the start of their next session. I also found that this is really useful for supporting non-specialists. We have quite a few in the history department that teach the lower school, and actually to have this information here gives them the confidence. They're able to talk to the students about going to look things up themselves, and obviously they're able to then get on with the lesson. And things here, because it's all here, the information's all here and specifically designed for our course, the students are easily able to go and find out the answers for themselves, so they are pushed to be that independent learner. It also does mean that everybody in the department has the edit button on their screen, so they can add things to this textbook as and when they want to. And as long as they follow the structure, the format, then it's absolutely fine. Now, you'll see that a lot of this has been written by us, but the valuable thing is that the students can actually print this. So if they haven't got access to online learning at home, you can print the page. Obviously, they can't watch the video at home. But it does mean that they could take this home as a printed version if they wanted to. It's not like you've got to sit there and screenshot or anything. And also, I've been able to upload pictures of textbooks as well. So pages from the textbook which have been particularly useful. We've got, maybe 4 or 5 different textbooks that we've got in the cupboard. We're able to then crib from the different ones and put them onto the VLE site. This was really, really, really useful in lockdown. So we found that we started Crime and Punishment. We would have had a set of books that we wouldn't give out to Year 9, but we'd use in class. And myself and the other subject specialist were able to take pictures and upload it to a specific site and structure it in a way that kind of formatted our lessons when we were looking at crimes over the different eras. So it's really useful to ensure consistency across the department and to allow access for the students in all areas, and particularly obviously as they can print if they can't access online at home. So Year 10 and years 12 and 13, we've used this in a slightly different way. So what we have done, obviously we've still got the useful programs, is where students have recorded things, we are able to set up a little site just for that group alone, so you can make it private for those students. So what we did recently, we did a little crime watch review. So as students had spent lockdown looking at the crimes across the different eras, they then had to look at crimes of property, crimes of against authority, pick the most serious in the different eras and do a little crime watch show, and they had to then explain why they were so serious, why this criminal was so dangerous. So only the students from this class can access it. So it takes away that kind of anxiety of the students and that embarrassment, but actually allows peer assessment for homework as well and evaluation. So it gives me back that useful class time because they're able to do this. And I can set up a poll at the bottom. I haven't on this one, but you can set up a little forum or a poll at the bottom where they can specifically contribute, and you can ask the students to contribute. And again, this site can easily be removed from your main page, but it is obviously on your area as a site. So it would be on your Frog drive that you can use. The same I would say with A-level students. So they have completed seminars for me, and we've recorded them using voice note. And then, particularly in politics, we're then able to kind of put it up on the site as like a podcast, and then it's saved for years to come, particularly if it's very good. And then the students are able to listen back to it, evaluate it afterwards, use it as revision, which I think is really, really important, because that's one of the things I feel about group work when they're evaluating and they're discussing, is it can sometimes get lost. Well, actually, we can store it here on Frog and open it up for access to only specific groups of people. Now, with Year 11, revision and revision materials, I found this is really useful to support the parents and the students and to talk them through it at parents' evening. So again, this got very cluttered, so I sorted this out before lockdown. We had different sites for the knowledge on the different papers. So you will find that the students can click on it and they can go to their revision guides. They can do, I've got revision cards for them to fill in, so they can print off PowerPoint slides with specific questions on that they fill in and can test themselves. I've got tests that they can use, and then the answers that they can check, and revision tables and fill in, and I've got useful programs there for them. I also have model answers from the revision books, and obviously from the textbook, and obviously the model answers that our students have made in the past. And on this, it kind of reminds them of the question structure, how long they should spend on it. It also tells them what the question is specifically looking for and what areas might be tested in this question, and giving them examples that they can obviously then refer to. And you'll see that it's both Crime and Punishment and Whitechapel for us. And then finally, I have a list of practice questions or practice papers. So this was designed before we got textbooks, so I had to make some of them up. So they've got long lists of the different types of questions that they can use in their practice when they're studying. And I make sure that I add on different questions each year. For A level, we have the specifications, sample papers. So again, you can see all this is about supporting their learning. I've got revision sites for them. And then our students are expected to work independently as well as obviously in class. So we have our lesson materials and our work to be completed. But then for each subject, I have further reading, podcast, revision that I can add to as I find them. So it's all about facilitating them as an independent learner. And Frog is really, really useful for that, and easy just to pop up different information for them. And they know, because it's the same format, they know where they can go to on the VLE for this. So I think that's kind of a whistle-stop tour of what we actually do and what we use the VLE for. But I do think it is a really valuable and useful site to support our students. And likewise, again, one final thing, Year 13, I've got the reading lists. I've got useful logins for them. We did a bridging the gap thing for Year 11. So I've got the PowerPoints, I've got the links for the areas in there. And there were video sessions, because we used Teams and videoed it, that they were able to then access and use later on. So this can be used for future years. It's here as a nice storage facility as well.